So here's the truth that most online strength coaches don't want to admit. It's the fact that your audience doesn't yet trust you. And look, it's not because you're a shit coach. And it's also not because you don't get the results, but it's simply because you're relying on short form content to do a job that you've never actually set it up to do. And what I want you to understand here is the era has changed. No longer can you post things about yourself and attract clients. I mean, when you say that anyway, it does sound pretty shit, right? But things are different now, and you have to adapt with things, otherwise, you will just get left behind. It's 2025 right now, and we're closing in on 26, and you have a choice. You either play on easy mode or you just play the hard way and constantly wonder why everybody's winning and you're not. And here's one of the things that is going to help you make that decision. It's whether you do long form content or not. And before we go into that, if you haven't already watched part 1, where I go through the 5-hour coaching model, break down how strength coaches can make 10K months without burning out, all on this video. We've then got part 2, which is building the offer which actually sells. And this is why, online coaching is not the thing that people want to buy yet. That's what often online coaches are selling. But it's switching it around so that you're actually selling what people need instead of what you think they need. And then we've got part 3, which is the world-class delivery and gamified version of coaching, because coaching isn't just about doing a spreadsheet and sending them their reps that they've got to lift or maybe their food. Things have to evolve and have to change. And then we had part 4, which was a killer one, where we're going through the lead generation system that takes people from an organic to paid ManyChat, Skool, behind the scenes offers through the system to nurture them without having to do a shitload of cold DMs and making your life painful. But in today, we're going to move into a whole new different area. And this is what we're going to be focusing on right now. And it's the long form content for strength coaches to be able to grow their online presence. Now, first things first, right? Long form is the fastest way for an online coach to start to build trust, pre-sell to clients, shift the beliefs, and hit 10K months with less effort. Because building trust is one of the biggest things. And if you're not thinking of building trust and you're just thinking of the sale, then it's just like walking up to somebody in the pub saying, hey, fancy coming home. It doesn't work. And okay, depending on where you live and the environment, hopefully it's not that easy, because it'd say a lot about the person, right? But this is where we need to understand there's elements that we need to take as we go through this. The pre-selling to clients, quite simply, we're going to be getting them to buy into your business themselves without you having to do anything. And that's exactly what long form content is for. The more hours they watch of you, the closer they are to buying your product. Shifting beliefs. Again, this should be one of the key focuses that you are doing. You're shifting people's beliefs to think like you and want to join your crew. And then as we go through this, if you look at it like this, short form gets attention, which is everything that you're putting in short form content so that you're able to attract the ideal client that you want to bring into your business. And then long form is the thing that creates the belief and takes them closer to understanding how you think and why you think the way you do, and that they need to think the same as you. And that's exactly what long form is for. So if we look at this then, belief is what makes someone message you saying these types of things, that I'm in, how do I pay? Not the whole, how does it work? Because if people are asking you how it works, that means that you haven't done a good enough job on the outside to show them how it works. And you've got to then take them through that process again. This is what long form content is for, so that they understand everything about you, they understand how things work, and they just say, I'm in, where do I pay? The other thing is what's included. Again, if you're hearing that often, people aren't understanding what you're actually doing for them as an outcome and as a result. People are then judging you on what's included as opposed to what the outcome is. And this is why often a lot of people will say that, don't say your prices, because if people are judging you by the price before they know you, then actually they're most likely going to not pay because they're just seeing you as more expensive than the rest. But when you actually understand the difference of why you're more expensive or why a product's more expensive, then you buy into it. It's just like Ferrari, right? They are a car that has a massive price tag for a reason, and you don't walk into there and say, how much is it? Finally, we've got, can you explain the program? Again, if people are asking you to explain the program, that means that you're not clear enough in everything that you're delivering to them externally on your marketing, and they actually don't know how you work. So long form, does all the heavy lifting for you. And this is something I want you to really start to think about, because when you are trying to get somebody to the next step and people are thinking sale, 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 the next step isn't the sale. The next step is the understanding, it's the shifting the belief, and it's the getting them closer to you, maybe making a small payment of something to get on a classroom on Skool, which is a lower priced tier thing that gets them to understand your mechanisms, how you work, and start to build trust with you. It doesn't have to be the big sale of taking them straight to your main program. But when you start doing long form content, this is where it will do the heavy lifting for you, i.e., you will start to build that trust. And it's when you're sleeping, it's when you're away from your desk and everything else, because they are doing it for you. And that is why it's really important that within your long form, you make them entertaining, but also valuable and giving out your true self. So here's the process of what I stick to within the long form content. So the first thing is the click, and this is known as the 5 C's. The first thing is the click, the hook. This is the call out, the exact struggle your ideal client is facing. This is making sure that it's direct to the person that you want to hook in, because if you say the wrong thing at the start, then you're talking to the wrong person, or the right person will get lost and they'll just click off. You've then got credibility, which is the second C. So this is show you've lived it, solved it, and coached it. Again, a lot of people, it's one side of the coin where people talk too much about themselves and their journey, and they don't really show that they can help others. But then you get other people that don't share anything about their journey. I've seen both sides, and none of them are going to be the most successful they can. You've got to get in the middle, so you are doing both of them. The next thing then is a call to action. So this is where I typically would say a lead magnet. You want to send them to a school or a free trainer or a free resource that gets them into your world. And this is about building that trust, starting that momentum. Just like if you haven't already right now got into my school, click on the description below and you'll see there's multiple free resources that you can get to grow your business. Go to that now, click there, get into Skool, and you can see all that free resources there. But that's exactly the thing you want to be doing in your videos, so that you are constantly getting people into your world. Then we've got number 4 is connect. So it's the relatability in your story and your personality. Now, this is key because there are so many people that forget that people buy into the person individually. And if you are copying other coaches, or your programming, your delivery and things are the same as other people, you're just part of the noise. But you need to be yourself. You need to show exactly who you are, because people will buy into you, and it's more authentic for you to be that way. Try to not be a robot and think that you just need to be the same as everyone else, but be yourself. That's why often you'll see in my videos, I'll say what I fucking want to say, because quite simply, I need to be me, because that's the best person that I am. And it's the same for you. You need to think about making sure that you are showing your true personality. You are sharing your story of where you've come from and why you're here. And you're also being relatable to people, rather than, always being the person that's I can do this and I'm better than you type of scenario and I teach people below me. Actually be relatable to them, show your struggles and connect with them. The next one there then is the next call to action. Now, typically here I'd do a main program one where it's a light invitation, no pressure. But if you're the type of person that wants to really go two-footed into building your business and you want to join me in the shift, then go to my Instagram, DM me the number 69, and I'll send over the information for you. That's exactly what that is. It's a direct to the program. It's a soft version. We're not hard selling, but you're just reminding people of how to get there if they do want to just be like, sod it, I'm in, I want to buy off you. By the way, if you do, then message me 69. Then we've got the core focus. So this is the actual teach, the shifting the belief, the showing the depth of exactly what we're talking about. This is where you prove that you're a specialist within the strength world and what you're doing. And again, ultimately, this is the main feature of the video, but you want to take people through this flow so you're continuously building that rapport with them and also connecting with them, being relatable and everything else. And that's why this system works so powerful. And then at the end, finally, we've got the last call to action. And this is directed to the next video or something like that. And it just keeps them binging your content like it's Netflix and actually getting them to build warmer to you as they go on. They realize they're doing it over a time period. You realize it's happening, and this is how the compound effects will happen, and you will build people into your business. So here's the stages then that I want to break down for you. Within the whole flywheel ecosystem, it is important that you take people to the next step as we go through. So the first thing we want to be looking at here is the short form content, which I've said on the previous videos I use something called GAP framework, which is growth, authority, personal, and it's a way of getting enough of each part of the content that's needed on your short form to attract people in, and also give them enough of you and your world, your transformations, what you're able to do, your authority, etc., to attract them into your short form. And this is ultimately that you hit micro beliefs and attract the right people into your business. Look at it like a shop front. Then we've got in the next stage here, making sure it's on the screen, the many chat triggers. Now, these have been an absolute game changer for me because it's a way of automating things for when people are warm, ready, or we're nurturing people and taking them to the next step. Again, the key thing here to think about is it's the next step. It's not making the sale. Sometimes it is the sale, but I'm going to go through that later on as well to show you the actual breakdown of that. But they comment, you DM them, and then they access your lead magnet or whatever it may be that you guide them towards. It could just be an email list that they're signed up to, and that's how they get into your world. Then we've got the lead magnet, which is in Skool, which is what I use on Skool. There's other platforms you can use, but personally, I think Skool has everything that you could possibly need. Then this is about getting them into your world. We take their email, we get them in Skool, and that's where the process will start to build. We'll start to build the rapport, and they'll start binging your content. And then we've got from Skool to long form. Now, this could be taking them to YouTube, or it could be built in to your Skool. I do both of them because, look, let people go where they want to go. But this is where you build the trust, the depth, and the authority. You're showing them your systems, you're showing them everything that you do, what you're about, how you work, and letting them feed off your energy. And then we've got the long form to behind the curtain offers. Now, these are where we're getting your warmest of buyers to step forward. This is something that I'll break down in a minute of exactly how I do this, but this is something that I know a lot of people don't do. And again, people are jumping straight to the sale, whereas we need to warm people up. But when we've warmed them up, then we say, hey, join something behind the curtains and I will show you how we work. It's a low transactional thing, but it gets them through the door and it shows that they are the people that want to move forward with you. And then from there, we've got your best clients will join naturally because they're not forced. They've gone through the process, they understand how it is, and they've seen enough of you to be like, I want to be a part of his or her team. So, short form starts the conversation, long form closes it. Try and look at it like this because short form is the thing that attracts them, brings them in, entertains them, all the rest of it. But then when you take them to your long form, that's when they can then binge and go and, act like it's Netflix and watch as much as they want to about you before they realize that they're in and they want to move forward. So the trust math that every coach must know. Now, let's not pretend that most people are often trying to get viral all the time, right? That they're thinking of the next viral hack and what to do. And as much as it is good to be seen by more people, if you're constantly focusing on this and you're not actually looking at the process and the journey you need to take people through, and then you'll find yourself feeling disappointed often and flopping. But there is a study that was ran by Google quite some time back, and it's called the 7-11-4. It's 7 hours of content, it's 11 touch points, and it's 4 different platforms. And this is what people need to digest before they will buy off you, typically. So what we need to think about here is how can we get people to watch that amount of us? Well, that's where, for me, YouTube comes in because, and if I'm honest, I'm new to YouTube. I've only done it in the last 8-9 months now, maybe, as I record this video. But the sales that have come from it and compounded from it have been more than anything I've ever done before. And that's all because of this system and this ruling. But the whole idea here is that we build the momentum in the flywheel so that it constantly compounds. When people watch something, like you, trust you, and start to then build a relationship with you, they'll continue watching and watch everything else that you've got on your channel. But people will then see you on YouTube, Instagram, Skool, email, behind the curtain workshops, DMs. And this will be all the ways that you are building your trust. Again, there are too many coaches that are thinking that a sale is just hanging out on social media, talk to people in the DMs, and then making a sale. When actually, if we build something like this is a system that will compound continuously and forever, whilst you don't even need to do anything to it. And then we've got the understanding of how many people in front of you are going to actually buy. Because again, so often people will get demotivated, they will get feeling like they're not moving forward. And I hear it all the time where people are like, I need more leads. Well, the leads are actually there. They're in front of you. It's just a matter of what you do, but also what you understand. And when you understand this, that 50% of the people in front of you, this is done on a study of 100 people, but 50% will just never buy from you. And what you've got to think here is that this is okay. Because if you are trying to sell to every single person in front of you, it will feel very long winded and negative and deflating for you. But also for them, they will just feel like you are pressuring them and they're never going to be your best client. So accept that 50% will never buy off you. You've then got 15% that will buy quickly, that are, let's call them the low hanging fruit, that they're like, look, I've seen enough, I'm in, tell me where to pay. But then that's why I've left this one till last, because this is the one that I want you to really think about and understand. 35% of people will be hovering around and they will most likely buy off you between 90 days to 2 years. Now, yes, that sounds like a fucking long time. And yes, it is. But if you are here to build a business and you want to continue your business, then you need to start thinking long term. Because look, if you wanted me to tell you that it's going to be 14 to 28 days or something stupid like that, then one, you're on the wrong video. But two, that is not real life in the game that we play. If you are constantly showing up, you are constantly shifting people's belief, if you are putting the fucking reps in, because that's the issue that most people have, where they put a few reps in and it's not working, so they spit their dummy out. If you are doing these processes and these things, then you will win, because you have to win. It compounds and people will build trust and then eventually want to buy off you. That is the way that it works. But most coaches quit posting right before the actual warmest of their audience are ready to buy. And that is the sad truth. You never know what's around the corner, and people are not getting to that corner to actually know what's around the corner. Now, yes, don't get me wrong, because I'm a very real and honest, open guy. And when I've had mentors in the past that have said to me, just keep going, you're doing the right thing, it is fucking demotivating. Let's not pretend it isn't. However, if you study yourself like this and you understand the process, then you're able to continue. It's just like you telling one of your clients to just keep doing what I'm telling you to do. If you study it, understand it, absorb it, and start to really appreciate what it takes, then it makes everything 10 times easier, because you actually understand the process as opposed to just being told to crack on and keep doing the same thing. But understand this: patience and consistency will equal profit, because over time you will compound and people will continue to see you, like you, trust you, and eventually want to buy off you. So then we've got the behind the curtain offers. So if you're wondering, what the hell is this? How do we do them? This is it. So initially, this is probably one of the most, let's call it a secret step, simply because of the fact that often people miss this type of stuff, don't know it's a thing, or even don't know how to do it. But what I do here is I do live workshops and events, or short courses for small amounts. It could be 20 to 50 pound, let's say. And the whole idea here is that you're getting people to watch you, to be taught by you, to binge your stuff, and to start to trust you, to then eventually, most likely, they will buy off you. And the fact that they become a even a low ticket buyer guarantees that they trust you and they're buying into you. At what level, that is obviously all down to you and your content and how you deliver everything. But this is where, like, the short courses, workshops, and events become a key feature for this. But when people actually show interest in this and transact with you with money, they're showing you that I'm warm and I'm thinking about working with you. So again, we've got to think, rather than making that jump, that sale to the main program, like, how can you get somebody to step closer to you? Money is the clearest sign of commitment. And once someone becomes a behind the curtains buyer, they will be 10 times more likely to join your program. So we've got to think, what can we do to get them to that next step? And this is the best part: you don't need to create anything new at all. Sell the stuff that you already have, like the workshops, recordings, upload it, and then you put them onto Skool and make money from it. So just after Black Friday, I made $950 from selling one section on my Skool that I already had. The only thing I had to do was redo the video for the introduction, because I wanted to talk about the product rather than the full mentoring. But this was all done without doing any other work, and it was just talking to my audience, and that's exactly what we want to be doing throughout this process. So, long form, let's look at this then. With long form, we want to get some depth within who we're talking to so that they can see the value, they understand it, and we can shift the belief, but also build the trust so that they then decide that, yes, this is the right move for me. Long form lets your audience see your mind so that they can see how you articulate things. We all know this. You watch somebody and you either love them or hate them. I've got somebody that I'm watching right now that I fucking hate the way he talks, but the stuff he says is fucking great. And that is just life. If I can see through that, and then I may get some benefit from that. But this is how we work in life, right? So it's just understanding those sorts of things. They can hear your conviction. They will understand exactly like where you're taking things and how much you mean. Like I love to look at this as passion as well, because it's like I am seriously passionate on helping people see things that they didn't see before and taking them to that next level. And I know for a fact, because people have said it before, they can see it in me. And that's exactly what we want to be doing with everything that we deliver. They can feel your energy. Again, I've had so many people say it, and I love to hear it, that they felt flat before they spoke to me, and then all of a sudden they feel like they've took my energy as well. Well, that's because I've done what I've done for years, and I know how to hit the sweet spot, and I know how to get people there. And you will with what you do. It's just about actually converting that into something so people can see you more often. They'll understand your systems, because this is a huge part of it. I always look at it like this, right? It's like telling a child to do something. They will, because of the way cognitively kids think, they question things and they try and not do the thing, right? But if you explain why and you get them to understand the understanding behind it, they're more likely to do it. And that's exactly the same with adults. If we understand the system, we're better at applying it because we understand the process and we know the journey that we're taking. And then finally, it's to connect with your beliefs. So again, people will start to understand you, understand your beliefs, understand where you're going. And this is how you can shift their belief to your belief, because they will start to buy into you and understand that the journey you're taking is going to help them get to where they want to be. So this is where you shift the big beliefs. First of all, it's low engagement means I'm failing. So look, if the way that social media is nowadays, if you are the type of person to think that I'm getting low engagement, so I'm actually not moving forward, then you need to dissect and look deeper into your market, and you need to work harder on understanding the next steps. If you are doing long form content, it's another way of building rapport, building trust, and taking people along that process. People that say, I need more leads, there are hundreds of leads in front of you. But the question I always say to people is, how many leads do you actually need? Because if you've got hundreds in front of you, surely you don't need hundreds of clients. It's just how well you're doing the thing, as in moving them to the next step. Someone with more followers will win. Again, it's something that often people think, but I've proven this multiple times with guys that I've worked with that have low followings, yet they make more money than somebody actually broke me the other week where they made more money with me and they've got less followers than me. And I made a massive thing about it because it's fucking awesome. And then we've got my story doesn't matter. Often people will think that their story doesn't matter. Well, there is always somebody that will be inspired by your story. And there is always lots to come out of your story. It's all about how well you tell stories and the types of things you say within your story. But these are all wrong. Your story is the attraction. Your story is the thing that is going to bring people into your world. Your systems are the differentiator, which will stand out from the rest of the guys. Again, in one of the videos here, I break down the unique mechanisms and why you should use them. These have been a killer movement for me and my business and the other guys I'm working with. And then your long form content is the trust builder. This is the thing that gets people over the line. This is the thing that works for you without you having to do any more work. And that is why it's so important and beneficial to put the work in on building your long form content as well as your short form content. So this is the authority diamond, right? Authority is built with structure. And these are the really powerful elements to building your audience whilst you're doing long form content. And you need to make sure that you're touching on all these areas. First of all, it's your strengths, like the strengths that you have as you that you can, let's say, show off and present. The things that you're really fucking good at and the things that people go to you for. What are they? Are you showing those enough in your content? Your passions, again, it's something that you are able to give people energy through your passion. If they are aligned with you, it comes out, it bleeds, and people will absorb that. Beliefs. This is a huge one. It's important that you share your beliefs because this is what makes you yourself with your opinion, and people will either start to love you or hate you, just like Marmite. If you're not going to share your beliefs, people won't quite know whether they want to like you or not, trust you or not. But when you start sharing your beliefs, people then realize that actually this person stands for something, and they can then start to understand you, and this is how you'll win them over and bring them closer to you in your world. You've then got your habits. I think that's actually spelled wrong. It's 1B. But with habits, this is something that is very much like where people wouldn't like to share their, let's say, the things they do, like that they feel are bad. Habits are things that make you you and make me me. But if you don't share the behind the scenes type of stuff, the habits about you and the things that you like to do and shouldn't do, etc., and then again, people are not able to actually grow as close to you as you want them to be. But this is where also the vices come in. So this is again an area where a lot of people wouldn't like to share too much about themselves. But if you can really show the real you and the shit that you do that you probably shouldn't and everything else, then people will be warmer because they'll feel like they're really connected with you and probably relatable, because let's be honest, most people in our world come from very similar backgrounds that we do. And this is the Cultivate Code. Now, twin this with the above, and this is how you will crush it within your content. But you want to show your world, the good and the bad, your transformation, your journey, and your results. And again, go into depth with these. Don't surface level scratch them. Get deep into it so that people really get you, understand you, know where you've come from, and they see everything along the way. Because we all know this, but too often people only share the good stuff. And if you're only sharing the good stuff, you're basically like standing at the top of a mountain looking down on everybody. When they understand your actual transformation that you've been through, your journey, and what results you've got, then they can see themselves within you, which is exactly how we grow to really like people and also trust them and want to join their program so that we could do the same thing that they do. So this is the long form ecosystem. Now, you do not need 10 platforms. People do this all the time where they get obsessed and they're trying to do too much. Well, you never become a pro at any of them. You just need a solid system of how you're going to take them step by step. You want a YouTube, which is your trust engine, Skool, which is your community and your value hub. You want behind the curtain workshops, which is your micro conversion machine. And then you want your program, which is your main transformation program, the thing that you take people to get them the result. Now, mine is obviously how I help strength coaches online to hit 10K months without grinding, DMing strangers, or burning out. And that's exactly what I do. And if you can't say what you do in a sentence, then that's something that you need to be thinking about so that you can nail. Now, look, if you've made it this far into the video, join my Skool community where you'll see all of these plus more. It's the content strength system to help you step by step get all of your content nailed and actually plan it, project it so that it's scheduled for the next 30 days. The magnetic offer blueprint, which is the full offer. Rather than just thinking that you're selling online coaching, we break down the offer so that it's a magnetic offer and you stand out different from others. You've then got the Pro Coach OS, which is the system, operating system to run your business professionally. If you're anything like me, I came from the strength background where it was all about brute strength, mentality as well as physically. And I didn't really run my business very well. I just literally punched a load of numbers in, coach people, and check my bank every so often. Well, this system will help you completely eradicate that and run like a professional so that you've got everything there as a one-step or a one-shop area that you can just look at daily and continue to build your business. And then you've got the churn killer system, which is exactly what it says on the tin. It's helping you with your churn, because too often people are thinking of the leads that they're bringing in, but they're not thinking about the people that are actually dropping out the bottom. But quite simply, go to the link at the bottom of here on my YouTube and you can have access to all of that. So that is a wrap. I fucking love that, and I hope you got lots of value from it. I'm sure you did, because there is some absolute killer stuff in there that I wish I knew when I was starting my business before. And if you haven't already, go back and watch the other series, and you can watch up to now so you understand absolutely everything throughout this mini series. But we've got one more, so still hang around for part 6, where I'm going to be breaking down how you can sell confidently in your DMs without feeling like a sleaze. And finally, if you haven't already subscribed, then subscribe, stop fucking around, and I'll see you on the next one.